Yeah, how's that for a bullshit ending? At least I fast forwarded through it for you guys. I was sitting there about 5 minutes into it, like, I think I stopped caring by now. Anyway, I had an idea today to start a video series on Final Fantasy. Basically, the format for it will go, I record the last boss and the ending, and then I have a little spiel about my thoughts on the game, what I liked about it, basically a review. It's a review. So yeah, Final Fantasy 1. This was actually my first time playing it, which is kind of sad. The game's been out for 20 years. Where the fuck have I been? But anyway, I guess I'll start out with, everybody probably knows the origins of Final Fantasy. But I always thought it was a cool story. If you're like the 2 people out there who don't know the story, then this is for you. Basically, Squaresoft, now known as Square Enix, Final Fantasy was basically their last-ditch effort at making a game, because at the time of its release, they were pretty much bankrupt. And Final Fantasy was basically them going out with a bang. And it ended up being a huge success. That's pretty much it. No, but I always thought that was pretty interesting, how they pretty much did a 180 with that one game. Which is kind of ironic when you think about it, because it's gone from being the Final Fantasy to being the never-ending fantasy. Yeah. So yeah, my thoughts on the game itself. My 2 major gripes with the game. First of all, it's easily one of the easiest RPGs I've ever played. It is disappointingly easy. None of the battles were difficult at all. Random battles, no matter what it was, I could pretty much one-shot it with just my basic attack. If there was a large group, I would just use my AoE spells and nuke them all to hell. Bosses were just... I was pretty over-leveled from what I've gathered. I had a walk... I used a walkthrough if I didn't know, because the game... I don't know what I'm talking about. I used a walkthrough when I didn't know where to go, which was quite a few times, but, it was funny because it was one of those walkthroughs where it has, like, a recommended level for each chapter or whatever, and I was always, like, at least 10 levels above the recommended level. I did do a bit of grinding, but that was only to get gold, or guild, to afford spells, but that ended up getting me quite a few levels. So yeah, I was over-leveled throughout the whole thing, pretty much. I thought Garland was going to be at least decent, even though he was the first boss, but I think I wiped him out in like 2 turns. Basically, a boss fight went, I would get my red mage and my white mage, and I would start buffing, haste, temper, null spells, etc. And by the time I got halfway through buffing, I'm like, oh, the boss is dead, okay, that works too. So yeah, it was just I was disappointed with the difficulty. I didn't want it to be, I don't think many people consider Final Fantasy to be, like, hard, a difficult game, like any of them. Although, my friends have told me that 3 is hardest hits. But, yeah, it was just pathetically easy. And I'm not saying I'm like an awesome Final Fantasy or RPG player. But, yeah. My second gripe, I guess that's all I wanted to say about that, or I guess that's all there is to say. My second gripe has to do with, the game never really gives you any, like, direction. It was very unobvious several times what you're supposed to do next. And I'm not saying I'm the type of person that likes my handheld, like, come on, we're gonna go over here now. But I do like for at least someone to point in the right direction, or not the right, but like, okay, you need to go over this way, you know, just give me like a general vicinity. But no, you would get nothing. Well, at the beginning of the game, in Cornelia, there was a dancer, and she would give you like, oh, you need to go to the west over here. But like after you beat Lich and get the first Earth Crystal, she's like, I don't know what you're supposed to, this is over my head, let's dance. And yeah, and there were a couple times where it was just absurd, like really ridiculous obscurity as to exactly what, like as soon as I got my airship, I went up to this town where they were having ferry problems, and basically somebody sold their ferry to this caravan. And you talk to somebody in the village and they're like, yeah, I sold it, what the fuck do you care, man? It's my ferry, I do whatever the fuck I want, man, what you gonna do? And, but he says he sold it to the caravan, he doesn't tell you where it is. And then later, I found another hint in this other town, or it wasn't a hint, it just said caravan. And it turns out the caravan was on another fucking continent, and it was this, like, tiny isolated desert that was just outside of this larger desert. And there was no indicator on the map that there was something there, you just had to walk into it. And nobody told you, like, it was there, or if it was anywhere near there. And I did look up a walkthrough for that, because, I mean, it was weird because this Final Fantasy seemed to rely more on just exploring the world map, which I have no problems with. I like exploring at times, you know, I like games like Morrowind where it's a sandbox, it's open-ended, you can go wherever you want and do whatever you want. But I don't like exploring randomly in Final Fantasy, and there are two words that explain why. Random battles. They are annoying. Not because they're difficult, especially in this game, random battles are piss easy, I just attack everything and it dies in one shot like a lame cow. But they're annoying, because you're running along, you're trying to find something, you have no idea where it is, if you're even near the right area. And every 5 seconds you gotta hear with and yeah, you can run from them, but it's still, you still get interrupted every few seconds for however long it takes you to get out of the damn battle. So yeah, and then there was another part when I was getting, this one really pissed me off, because I had to go back into a dungeon because I missed an item that did not allow me to progress through the game anymore. And I had to look at walkthrough for that too, but the thing that pissed me off about it was that if I had not known about the item and where I needed to take it, I would have been stuck for I don't even know how long. It was in the sunken shrine where you get the water crystal from Kraken, and you had to get a Rosetta Stone to learn this ancient language. First of all, I did not know I was supposed to be learning an ancient language. Second of all, I didn't know I was supposed to take it to this guy to learn the language. I had no idea I was supposed to learn. But it was just like, what really ticked me off about it was that you'd think an item that important, they would put it, like, in the way to the Kraken, because where it was a completely other half of the dungeon that I just happened to miss. So I had to look up a walkthrough because I was just like, hey, what do I know? After I get out of there. And then I was like, oh, I missed that item. Now I have to go back into the dungeon and fight my way back to where that item is. That's probably the one thing that really ticked me off about the game.